The tag for this video is FE-register. Since this project is a social media application where users can post things, we should have a way for users to sign up. So the first page we'll be making is a user registration page. This registration page will take longer to make than the rest of the pages because we need to cover how each part of the project works and go over different concepts. So this section will be quite a bit longer and have a lot more information than the subsequent ones. Let's dive in. So we'll start with the front end. We're going to open the front end folder, go to the source folder, and open app.rs. We're going to start by taking a look at this cx.render block. cx.render renders out HTML elements, and the rsx macro here is how you define those elements. HTML elements within the rsx macro use curly braces to delimit each one instead of the usual greater than or less than. So if we were to just manually type this out, this h1 with the curly braces is going to expand to this HTML. And so we don't need to have the ending tags like we normally would with HTML, and we can't use the less than and greater than symbols. All we need to do is have the curly braces right here and whatever content we want. Another interesting feature with the rsx macro is we're not just limited to HTML elements. So we can have an h1 or a div or a paragraph, but we can also have other things rendered by rsx. So we're just going to call this other things. And we can just put anything we want in here. So we'll do, for example, a paragraph. And this will just say hi. And we can have it here at the end. We can just put other things. So when this whole block renders, we're going to have a heading, a div, paragraph, and then other things. Other things is this variable here, which renders out as a paragraph. So we're going to have another paragraph here that says hi. We're also able to inline Rust code. So if we wanted to have a match, we can match on something. And then let's say it's an option. So I'll say some option. And if it's some, then we can render out some RSX. We can use RSX and then whatever you want. And if it's none, we can have something else. This makes it pretty simple to put logic and things in your templates. However, what I would do most of the time is avoid putting Rust code directly in the RSX and prefer do it this way and assign a variable to it. That way we have names for every single thing. And it makes it much easier to keep track of what's going on, especially when our templates start getting complicated. Okay, so we can delete all this. Now, what we need to do first is we need to create a router. This is going to be a single page application, and we need a router element that's going to handle the URLs for us and route to the correct pages. So to create a router, we're just going to type in router. Next, we need to import the router elements. The crate that we're using for HTML rendering is called Deoxys. And so Deoxys provides the router for us. So we can either click on this light bulb and import it, or we can hold Control and click tap the period on your keyboard, and then you can click on import. And so that's going to import it, and we're able to use it. Next, we need to create a route. So to create a route, we're going to type in route to, we'll just put a placeholder. So that's going to go to some URL. That's going to show up in the address bar. And we need to route to another element. So we're going to create a new module. We're going to call it page. And we're just going to call it the register page. These curly braces here at the end, they indicate what properties that we're going to be sending to the register page. We're not going to be sending anything to the register page, so we're just going to leave those empty. Now we can go create the module. So we'll open up our Explorer, and we're going to right-click on Source, New File. We're going to create page.rs. In our page.rs file, we're going to create another module. It's going to be called Register. And now we're going to make another folder by right-clicking in the source folder, new folder. This is going to be called page. So we're going to have multiple modules within this page module. And then we're going to right-click again, new file, register.rs. In our register.rs page, we're going to turn off warnings. So we're going to allow non-snake case. So we're not going to use the normal Rust naming convention for our elements. And we're also going to use Deoxys, prelude, asterisk. So we're going to use everything in the prelude for deoxys, and that's going to allow us to easily work with HTML elements. Next, we're going to create the element. We'll make a public function, call it register. Every element we make is going to have CX scope. It's going to return an element. Within that, we can do cx.render, and then our rsx. Now the CX is keeping track of everything that's associated with this element here, this register element. So in future videos, we're going to be associating data with these elements, and the CX keeps track of all that data for us. Now that we've stubbed out the registration page, we need to link it up with the router, which we'll be doing in the next video.